Hello YouTube, TrixBrix here, and today we're going to do a bonus city update video. For too long we've not made progress on the city and have just been playing around with trains on the floor. Well, that chapter is finished. We are going to make some progress if it kills us. Bringing more stuff down from the Lego room and improving it and incorporating it into our new setup. Yes, yes! Well, nothing as exciting as the new space tower today. I'll have to design that in due course. It's going to be pretty good. But today I think we need to do something a lot more straightforward, which is build all the infrastructure. And I'm hoping to do it for the entire length of this wall. Now, we're going to have a lot more space for facades and so on in the new city, so I won't be getting it complete by any measure, but just getting a good wodge of base plates down and a bit of the city planned will give it a bit more structure and, well, give me a place to actually put some of the stuff that I need to bring down from the old Lego room to the new. So, yeah, I think I'm going to try and do that very back strip, which will also give me some track. Which means I can move some of the trains off the floor onto there and sort of make a gradual sort of progress of moving everything into a more permanent destination. So I think I'm going to have a little bit more green along the back wall here. And then I'm going to have my first road going off into the wall to suggest that the city's a lot bigger than just the section that we can see in the room. The walls act as kind of a guillotine to represent just the bit we can see, but the city does go on in all directions. And then have that joining a main road in front of a row of modulars and then disappear back into the wall. Now that's really important because that's going to be my street-based racetrack. I always wanted to have a racetrack in my old city but didn't have the space. And having a complete loop dedicated to racing cars just isn't viable, even in a room this size. So basically, I thought I'd do a street race, a legal one, where basically something like the Monaco Grand Prix, some of the streets get sort of cordoned off when we make a track. Now, I don't want to have the whole loop in again. So I figured all of the race cars kind of coming out of one wall, going along here, going through a chicane or something, and then going back in would be a really good cross-section. And then the rest of the street can continue on its merry way. So then I can have green behind a row of modulars here. I don't think it'll be these ones necessarily. I'm hoping to do the new, what's it called, brick cross station in this section here, I think. Then have more green base plates along here and the curve going around here because the track is going to be going in front of what will be more sort of waterfront and the bridges here, not above a standing hole or above a crawl space anymore. So that means I need to do another set of curves, just like we've got in this corner over here. And also I'm going to have one of those continuous curve switches from TrixBrix going straight into the wall as well, to suggest that the train line goes off ... to other cities and places far away as well. So how much of that I'm going to get done today, I don't know. But if I manage to do all of the donkey work of getting just all the track in, I think it'll make some serious progress. And like I say, that means I can start decanting some stuff from the floor onto tabletops, which is an improvement. We don't want anything there. And that'll free up floor for bringing more boxes from upstairs down. Yay! It'll all get there bit by bit. So the thing I've just started doing is making loads of 2x4 kind of bits to go in my track system, which I'll show you in more detail a little bit. Loads of different patterns, and the reason why I've organized them like this in the repeating patterns is so when I do a section that say uses 20 of these, I just pick them evenly. So the random distribution is, well, a bit more random or less random depending how you look at it, but anyway, more orderedly random, something like that. Anyway, cool, right, so I need to extend this track a little bit longer and then we can get on with our first crossing over here. Wow, looking how much ballast I've got left and how much I've already gone through is alarming. But anyway, this is the progress we're making. This is a crossing that I've wrenched out of the old city, and that is the style of crossing that I'm going to be using in the new one. I appreciate that a racing track usually doesn't go over rail lines, especially, well, a double rail line twice. But anyway, it's kind of going to be rally cars rather than like Formula One cars, so I reckon they'll be able to handle it with the barriers sort of in their up position. The fact that we'll have trains running on both of those train lines makes it, well, all the more perilous, and that's why Lego cities are really good fun, because they don't have to be realistic. But anyway, that's the style we're going to be following roughly. But like everything, when I bring it down, I'm kind of not only giving it a clean, but trying to improve on it, basically. So one of the things that I'm going to improve on is the fact that I bought loads of straight base plates, because my city is going to be bigger now, kind of from a bulk order from one seller who had quite a lot, and they were all described as excellent, but a lot of them have got a lot of pressure marks and heavy deep scratches on, which is a bit of a shame. Now some of them are great, but some of them are pretty well loved, and the fact that these crossings cover such a large proportion of a base plate, in fact virtually all of it, is almost worth using a blank one and pretending the road's there. But when you've got some damaged ones, which were pretty cheap, then you may as well use those as your source material. So what I've done is taken the old style and brought it across, but using as many sort of cheap pieces as I can in the middle here, and cheap colours that I don't need in other pieces, just to give it a nice sort of support structure onto which I'll put the lovely slopes, these 6x8 ones, in position, and they are just fabulous. That's one of the reasons why I like my ballast system, raising the track only up by one plate, because I get to use these that seamlessly go into the crossing. So that is a really nice thing. So my system is very simple. You just have a one wide set of plates supporting the outside, that's it, and I'm using loads of 1x6s and 1x8s, whatever I can get the cheapest, and then in the holes you basically get one of your patterned 2x4s, which are also very cheap, with loads of little 1x1 rounds on, and just kind of slot that into each of the holes and you're done. It's as simple as that, really. So that is what I've done on the next part of my production line, which has got all of those 1x8 tiles in position, and it looks very smart indeed. My double width buffers mean that we've got a very recessed set of ballast in there, the sort of gravel in the gap. It's completely below the level of the sleepers, which I think is very pleasing and realistic. And then we've got the half buffer at the end, or the beginning of the next section of track, and it all looks absolutely fantastic. And the tracks are just very slightly raised, which means we've got good clearance underneath for our cargo wagons, which sometimes have got something lumpy on them, or a mechanism or something like that, but also a very pleasing sort of da-dum, da-dum when a car goes over it. It would shred racing car tyres, presumably, but anyway, and there is just a tiny bit of road left visible, but it's important because we can see it. And that base plate that I've completely hidden under there was the worst one of all, so it had really big stress marks on, and now you can't see them at all, so that is a pretty good result, actually. And then we're back into green. I will be disguising this sort of line in due course with probably some pavement like we did over there, with all the crossing barriers and all the rest of it, but that will then marry up with that bit there, and it should be seamless. So I can put this in place, but I probably won't just yet, because we've got to then make the next section of 3 green base plates from my stack O green base plates over there, and then I need to finish this one to be the next rail crossing there, and then, well, we'll see how much ballast we've got to do the next section, because I really want to get the corner in as well with that bit of TrixBrix track. Then the plan is to have, I don't know in what order, but probably another crossing going that way. In fact, it'll probably be about where the green base plate is, because that's going to be when this table continues at this level, covering up the subway track. That's going to be where the airport is, against the wall here, with the jets sort of coming out of the wall up there. And then we can have our old train shed, not the relatively recent one, not this one with the Zeppelin train in it, but my old train shed, the red one, around this area too. I'm not sure if there's going to be space there. It might have to go sort of next and be on the next table that will come in, which will liberate when we get more stuff down from the Lego room. So you see, it's all very circular, really. I've got to kind of make space up here so I can bring stuff down, so I can liberate another table and kind of repeat the cycle. So that is what we're doing. So yeah, I'm going to finish that second one and then get all the crossing guards in, because I've got loads of bits that I've been collecting for making my sort of barriers, because I want to have them even if they are in permanent open position for the racing cars. And I've got these new tiles. Instead of getting these quite expensive 1x8 tiles with the nice crossing stickers on, I've managed to get an absolute bag of these 1x4s, which are half red, half white, which should do the same thing. It might be slightly less strong as a result, but we'll see how that works out soon, because they're pretty good value actually when bought in a bag of about, I don't know, 100 is that? Which should be enough for all of my crossings, which are going to be about 6, I think. Anyway, cool. Right, I shall carry on. Well, I reckon these new TrixBrix tiles might even be an improvement on the stickers that are a lot harder to get. Sure, they're only 1x4s, but I don't think they're weaker as a result. I mean, you really can move this around quite easily. I suppose it could, under severe use, become a bit sort of wobbly or something. But the thing I really like about them is the fact that because they're printed rather than stickers, the colour goes right to the edges, so that is a very vivid barrier, nice and shiny too, whereas these stickers are a lot more matte and they don't go right to the edge like all Lego stickers don't. So yeah, I think it's actually an improvement. So otherwise the build is the same as my old ones. Basically I have a 2x2 slope in black with one of those interesting Technic pieces on the top, whatever that's called, with a pin in it. Then a 1x2 Technic brick with a bracket on it, and then just a grill tile just to tidy it up, and then a nice angled plate, and then a 1x10, 1x8, 1x8, and then one of those sort of hinge attachments to have the down bit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my 1x4s on each. Yes, I think that stands out a lot more. Now, I'm also going to have these crossing barriers. You'll have seen in all my brick hauls, I've been collecting all of these symbols on the 2x2s to use all over. And when I've got the crossing facing the wall, I will have one of these with the tiles on, because I figure, well, I've got them now, so I may as well. But I'm not going to waste stickers facing the wall when they're going to be, well, invisible from any other angle. So I'm just going to use the black tile blank. So that will be really nice. So that's roughly how it'll look on one side, at least, in my new setup. Yeah, I really like those tiles. Much better value, much brighter. Another good one from TrixBrix. Cool, right. I'm going to put all of that and the tiling around it on both sides, on both of these. And then, yeah, we should be able to get those in. But then I'm going to move on to the corner over there, which is this piece, basically. It's radius 56, again TrixBrix, just so I can have that two curves, one inside the other. And I've also used one of these Terminator pieces, the pieces they make that come to a straight line, which are very useful for things like the old train shed. That's the Bricklink Designer program, what I'm talking about now, and or the wall of a Lego room. So I've actually used the 4-long one there. You can see the join there. So it's just 4 studs. You can get a 4-stud one, an 8-stud one, and I think a 2-stud one as well, if you've got really complicated geometry. And it's just that turned out to be what I would need in addition to normal plates for doing something like that, essentially. So way over there, we're going to have one track going straight into the wall and the other one curving around to end up 8 studs from the wall. And that marries up very neatly with that wall itself, looking like it goes off into the distance. And I've had amazing fun playing with all of the different bits of tile in brown to basically fill as much of the sleepers as I can, whilst leaving all of the mechanics and lumpy bits unfettered. So yeah, that looks really good. Like the look of that. And then when I'm placing the tiles for this, I'm going to be using the system that I developed last time I did some track on the outside there, but then it's going to have to kind of morph into a bit of straight track, so it is going to be a bit different. So I'll show you how I've done that if I've got all the right pieces. Okay, 2 crossings finished, and straight on to the next project, which is this, which was a lot easier second time round, I must say, than working it all out from first principles on the first set of corners over there. So what have we got? We've got a radius 40 on the inside, regular Lego curves, and a radius 56 switch curve that goes around there, and obviously straight into the wall too. Brick Derby, boo! So yeah, it's the same pattern that I worked out last time, except when it gets around here, it becomes a lot more sort of tile orientated to fit under all of the complicated mechanisms of the switch. And even more so over here. And you'll see I've even got a broken base plate because I try and save money wherever possible. And if I can get one with just a tiny bit missing off the corner that will be completely hidden by track, then yeah, makes me another pound to spend somewhere else. So I try and do that wherever possible. So yeah, that should fit perfectly on that. I'll press it down in a minute, but coming to a very satisfying firm end there for the wall, so that looks absolutely great. And then our regular track going somewhere like that as well, with the same system we had in the old city. And we'll have got an 8 stud gap in between the two tracks, which will continue down this entire sort of length down here, which will go over the 2 rail bridges and so on. But it actually switches to a 4 stud gap along the back, and that was so we'd have a much deeper bit for facades around all 4 walls, so we can get some nice interesting buildings in there. So that does stress some people out, the fact that we're moving from an 8 stud gap to a 4 stud gap. They're not in complete alignment, but yeah, it's going to work a lot better behind the modulars, because if this was forward, it would clash with the back of the modulars. If that was back, then we'd have less space to play with. So I don't think we'll notice when there's loads of stuff in the way, and other corners I think will be in more sync. But that looks absolutely great, doesn't it? Really good, even better than the one we did before over here with that switch going off into the wall. So yeah, I really like that. That looks great. And this little section here won't go to waste. It's not just the inference that it's going to Brick Derby, of course, but it could be for a construction scene where I've got the construction workers that are working on the rails, or it could even be the home for our Ultra Agents base that is fully deployed without its people at the moment. And that was just so I could kind of shut the flap, though we've got the aerial up at the moment, so I can't show that. But anyway, looks good. So we could have that scene maybe on this bit of track over here, with all of the flyers sort of beating around up to their mission. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do that exactly yet, but that is the plan. Use every inch. Don't tell me it looks very similar to what it did at the beginning of the video, because that's been a mountain of work. But let's have a look at what we've done. You can only imagine the amount of parts we've used. Yeah, the rail went up to about here, so we've added a section of 2 base plates plus a brand new crossing. I've just done 3 more base plates in here before the other crossing, before running out of bits. Yeah, I've got more coming in different orders, but we're down to 2 round grey things, so that's not going to go much further, is it? I think there's a few other things that have hit the buffers there as well. But anyway, you start to get the idea of the size of the sort of loop of racetrack we're going to have, and I'm going to build a chicane into it or something interesting, so I can have about, well, I don't know, half a dozen cars screaming around it. I think that would be really good, you know, using some of the streets for something slightly different. So then we're going to have about 3 more when I've got the bits before it goes into this section with the lovely continuous curve switch on that radius 56. So that looks really good. The new barriers look really good, a lot more vivid. I like those a great deal. So yeah, a lot of progress, he says, thinking, yeah, it doesn't look that much when you think about the size of the room, but yeah, it's done better than it was done before, and therefore it should be, you know, looking really good when everything else is in place. It's worth putting the effort in at this stage so it looks the best it can. And with that in mind, I've actually redesigned my monorail stanchions. So it'll just be a little more interesting with the sort of colour flash of that grey, orange-grey of the system that I use. And I'm also making it, when I do everything now, with 10 clearance. We've got 8 of the track plus that 1 instep on either side. So that means that when the cargo train goes through here, it won't be clipping anything if it's just a tiny bit over, or that new ghost train for that matter. So they'll be going over one of the tracks. I think it's the back one, isn't it? And this part of the city will be similar to before in that it'll come round over the top of that Art Deco cinema along the back here, but this time it will go all the way to the airport, so it will be an airport shuttle this time, so that'll be really good rather than sort of bending down here at the end of the marina. So that I look forward to. Clearly we're going to have a couple of bridges over the crossings for that monorail as well, so they'll look bright and interesting and give us a bit of verticality as well. And then we'll have obviously the monorails with the trams going behind all of those buildings, and there are the trams waiting patiently. So we'll have more table at this level with the airport on, and yeah, loads more to do. So yeah, we've put some of the things in place, making a bit more space to bring more stuff down. But yeah, when I finish this whole run, I'll be able to get some modulars in, and I think it'll look really special. And as I mentioned before, I'm hoping to get the brick cross station in this section, because I figure with the main station being right in the centre of the room, with the 4 sort of main passenger trains always either running or in platforms, there was space. This was kind of far enough away essentially for a second station, just a more small one. So I figure it'll go in the run here. I think that'll be nice and central as well. It's a bit lower rise, but I figure that'll be quite good because it'll just mean we'll see more of the facades behind it. So yeah, that's the plan. Because in the old city we had a station in the corner, was where the space tower is going to be going now. Whoop, lost the focus there. Cool, right, so yeah, I've had enough. My back's tired, my fingers are sore, so yeah, I'm going to call it a day. But yeah, that is a good bonus city update. Phew. Well, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Not that this video is particularly awesome, being as it was focused on LEGO infrastructure, but very necessary. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it, in buying ballast, sleepers and loads of grey bits, base plates and all the rest of it by clicking on one of the links in the description below. Your support is greatly appreciated. Next time on our sister channel, on Wednesday, we'll be doing another brick haul to get more parts to feed this hungry monster of a room. And then on Friday, I hope to be doing my collaboration video, which should be rather spectacular and provide another modular for this run, actually. Maybe we'll put it front and centre, right in the middle, pride of place. I think it's going to be very special, so do look out for that. I look forward to it. But until then, see you! Yeah, I think it might be beer o'clock now.